This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa. Well, good morning, Tuscaloosa. I need to start doing that better. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Welcome into the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com, right here in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios. Listen to us on the Bama Central YouTube channel. I am Joe Gaither. You are the listener, the viewer. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time on a Wednesday, listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon, wherever you get your favorite podcast platforms. The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central is live right there. We're going to have, hopefully, a lot of fun on a Wednesday, Hump Day edition. We've got my man, Mason Woods, joining us. You can follow him at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. We are live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios. We took a boat to be here. Mason Woods got the canoe out. We've both got our ponchos, the paddling over into the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios today, as it was still very messy outside, rainy outside. We appreciate Derek for giving us a dry place to record. Call Derek and his team, 205-758-3391, for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there, like he was there for me and Mason, giving us shelter from this storm. Oh, my gosh, Mason. We're almost on track.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
808. So we want to start. Oh, my gosh. Mason Woods is the best. So is Joe from Everett Osmer. Mason Woods getting some love from Everett in the Facebook machine. You are the best. We're getting closer. We want to be starting at 8 because we got a little phone line going on, and we want you guys to call on the phone lines. We did get some voicemails last night. We'll play a couple of the voicemails. We'll play them all, actually, here in just a little bit. You can call at 205-462-7340. That's going to have to, we got to practice getting that off the tongue. 205.
Yeah, we need a jingle or something that we can play.
205-462-7340.
Extension 800.
That's right. We need to get some pretty lady with a sultry voice. Call 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to react to last night's basketball game, the Crimson Tide taking on the Texas Longhorns. I guess I need to pull up my stat broadcast as Alabama beat the brakes off of the Texas Longhorns. 103, right? 103-80. We were both way off our score prediction. We thought Texas was going to hang in there a little bit. I'm still not very goodness gracious, Joe, when will you be pleased? What will make you happy? Nothing will make me happy when it comes to Alabama basketball until it's 103-0, 103-0, with 0 turnovers. So still not happy, Mason. No. Okay, so my point to bringing it up, it being early, I wanted to open it up to ask you how you're doing, so I can sip some coffee. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm doing fine this morning. I did get to watch that game last night, and very similar to you, was still a little annoyed with the way this team is performing. We will get into the nitty gritty of it, but the main takeaway from it was, you get the 23-point win. That's cool and all. It looks great on the box score. It looks great to maybe some people that didn't watch the game closely. But when you did watch the game, there was maybe a little more to that 103-80 than just Alabama playing really well. I think they had some things just kind of fall their way last night with some shooting woes for the Longhorns and like that. But we will get into it. I'm doing good this morning. I'm happy to be here bright and early. Had to brave the weather a little bit. It was like last night. Good Lord, the bottom just fell out. It was raining so hard.
What time was that? Because I actually, praise the Lord, made it. My eyes were closed before midnight.
Yeah, it was probably around 11, maybe 11:30 or so when I noticed it started to really pick up bad. Heard the cat start to freak out. You hear him sprint off, and God knows where he curled himself up last night.
Ramses, we love you.
Found him this morning. He emerged looking angrier than ever. But yeah, it was a good night. Happy that Alabama got the win. You needed to get these 2 big road wins. This is very big to send yourself into this final 7-game stretch here, where it is the hardest that any team has in the country.
Yeah, that seems like the right place to start is with last night's game, and of course, you can jump in on the phone line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Or, like our friend Everett Osmer, you can leave us a comment, and we'll pop it up on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube machine. First things were
Jaron Stevenson.
I was just going to go even more macro as far as Alabama and Auburn. You got through it.
Yeah.
You got through the
Auburn had a little bit of a scare.
Right, exactly. Auburn, if you're not paying attention to what I'm doing work-wise, that's A-okay. I'm writing for Vanderbilt more than it was, which is great. I would love that. So I'm watching the Vanderbilt game from I have to write this game perspective. No problem, no complaints there. And I'm saying, okay, first half, Vandy is like, oh, we in there, baby. We are going to make this a long night for you, Auburn. And they went into the break down by 2, Vandy did. And Vandy, the first 7-8 minutes of the second half was still I used to have a football coach who would call it the 5-mile dog. That he said, the little dog, the yappy dog that would chase you for 5 miles. It'll start biting on your heel. That first bite doesn't bother you. You're just annoyed. But by 5 miles of that dog yapping at you and biting you, your ankles are bleeding, and then finally you trip and fall. That would be. We got to be the 5-mile dog.
That's a good one right there. I like that.
Vanderbilt almost was.
Oh, man.
They were in there. They were nipping at their heels. You got it 5-6 minutes into the second half. Vanderbilt's got a 2-point lead. And I'm sitting there, most of the first half I'm watching on my computer back in my bedroom, just kind of being lazy. But I want to, get to work mode. Got to go sit at a desk, put the game on a real TV, use my computer to start writing. I move to my desk, and Auburn decides we've had enough of this. We've had enough of this.
Decided to quit playing with their food and turn it up a little bit, and said, "All right, let's finish it out here, boys." I think that switch is something we've seen maybe once from Alabama this year, and it was that Kentucky game. Outside of that, I don't know that we've seen Alabama activate a switch like that, which does concern me a bit.
Oh, my man James Ludeman jumping in on comments saying, good morning to you, Mason Woods.
Good morning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's going to be the trick for us. Consistently 8 a.m. Consistently 8 a.m. That's going to be our big key right there. Okay, so I'm watching Vanderbilt and Auburn. Denver Jones hits what did I write him down? 5 of 7 from three-point line for Denver Jones. Janai Broome goes 2 points in the first half, 15 in the second.
Did you hear the overrated chants from Vandy's fans at Janai Broome? That's a bold strategy.
Don't be dumb.
It is a bold strategy.
You're giving overrated chants while the game is still very much in the balance here.
Save those overrated chants for when you have to when Janai has to walk back to his locker room after they've lost.
Yes.
That's the time you bust those out.
Oh, as Vandy fans, I love you, but they saw their Commodores beat top 10 ranked Tennessee and top 10 ranked Kentucky, and they were feeling themselves like, oh, we're about to get another one. It's like, no, you got to keep going. Be patient. Drives me nuts. But Vanderbilt, they squeezed every bit of their juice out last night. So you give them credit. Mark Byington after the game was all, they have no weakness. Auburn has no weakness. And Vanderbilt out-rebounded Auburn.
Wow.
And they ended up tied for points in the paint. I think it was 40-40. So,
because Vandy didn't, I thought going into the game, okay, Vanderbilt will have to just make a ton of threes.
They didn't shoot. They shot terrible.
They shot horribly, but still kept it competitive for most of the game. I don't want to try to read the tea leaves too much, use the transitive property here, but that seems to potentially bode well for the Crimson Tide in this matchup on Saturday.
That's what yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, because I was really worried about Janai Broome and Dylan Cardwell and Chad Baker-Mazara eating your lunch on the inside. Now, Baker-Mazara is more of a wing, but Cardwell and Broome are grown ass men.
Yeah.
And
extremely fierce down there, both of them. They play so physically. We've seen a bit of that physicality from Cliff this year, but I still think that he, like we've talked about, he's always a little behind sometimes. Even even last night's game, there were many spots where it felt like, Cliff's, a step out of position or so. Cliff wasn't paying attention on this pick and roll, and the ball flies out of his hands, out of bounds. Cliff didn't cut quick enough on the pick and roll, so the ball's not there in time. All kind of things. I would like to see the physical dominance, that we see from the Auburn big men from Cliff Amore a little bit, because I think he can dig in and find it. I think it's there. I think we saw a little bit at Rutgers.
Yeah, and so I was encouraged really by Vanderbilt's effort, and it made me think, okay, Saturday, Alabama, you are what you are.
Yeah.
But you can control. We're gonna go max effort all the time. My man James Ludeman commenting, this Saturday is going to be absolutely epic. And he's right. It's going to be insane, thanks to both teams winning last night. So done with the Auburn talk. Okay, if you want to talk about Auburn, if you want to comment on Auburn, you're welcome to do that. You know the outlets, 205-462-7340, extension 800. Or you can leave your comments right there on the Facebook machine like James Ludeman. So let's move into Alabama and Texas.
Weird game. Kind of a weird game.
103-8. I mean, you played
offensively pretty well.
How can you say anything else? 62% from the floor offensively. You shot almost 60% from the three-point line. Like, ridiculous. 90% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Thank you, coach. Thank you, coach. 90% from the free throw line, you're going to make me do a backflip, win, lose, or draw, based on the issues we have seen already this year. 90% from the free throw line. Who was our only miss? We had two misses. Who were they? Aiden Sherrill missed one and Aiden Holloway. But I'm not going to beat those two young men up over missing one free throw. Great job, team. Great job, team, from the free throw line. We'll get to the miscues. But we should really probably start with the positives because it was a positive night. It was, what did we hear? Seventh game over 100 points this year.
I believe so. I think that's what this probably the most impressive stat of the night was for this Alabama team.
Did you hear Carl Ravitch?
Or are you going to say the 82 and 82? I wanted to ask you that before we even started recording.
That's the second time somebody's been got on that this year. Go. If the people didn't hear it, tell them what he said.
The play-by-play announcer last night, in trying to talk about the strength of the SEC, brings up the fact that, the SEC is 82 and 82, 500 as a league. Well, sir, every SEC team that plays an SEC game has to face off against another SEC team, meaning that each game winds up with one loser and one winner. So there is no result that we could have other than 500. But good on you, Carl Ravitch.
They were bad last night. The announcers were horrible last night. Everything was tied back to football.
Yeah.
And look, we love Alabama football.
Sure.
Ain't no disparity. We're going to get back to it. We're going to get back to it. Everything tied to football just was too. Carl Ravitch was doing it. And then Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy Dykes makes me want to just not watch the games. Seriously. Because it's always tied back to my time at Arkansas, and it's always every game is the biggest and every moment's the best, But on top of that is, how much in the second half did Jimmy Dykes have to insinuate that Nate Oates is going to be a hot coaching candidate again this year?
That was super weird. It felt like he was intentionally trying to weave that in as I've got my own agenda to get this point across, and I'm going to make sure that the rest of America knows Nate Oates will be a name to watch for in this coaching cycle.
Okay, we should be used to it as a you should be used to it now.
Yeah.
As a fan base and as a talk show, whatever you want to call us, right? We know Nate Oates is damn good. We know he's young. He's good looking. And he's super innovative. All these superlatives. Great, 5-star, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think we, at least for a year, don't you think we can avoid this conversation for a year? I mean, We just saw Kentucky go open last year, and whether you want to believe Kentucky's interest in Nate Oates or Nate's non-interest or interest in Kentucky, whatever your narrative is, because you got Kentucky people being like, he was coming if we offered the job, and you got real Alabama people saying there ain't no way, it never even got off the table. We just went ahead with the practice facility just to make sure it never got off the table. And then, you know, a couple weeks before the Kentucky job opened, he got an extension, right? Yeah. Right?
I think so.
Yeah, he gets himself an extension before but right around that. That's why the SEC tournament.
If I recall, you know,
he goes to the SEC tournament, and Alabama loses the one and done right to Florida that night, and it was like, ooh, the narrative machine went, oh, was Alabama going to regret giving him that extension? And then like a month later, he's in the Final Four, so shut the bleep up.
Tied to Alabama until 2029.
Right. And I'm 95%. I'm not looking at the numbers, Mace. If you're looking at them, you can correct me. I'm 95% sure that the numbers last year, the buyout this year, if I were University X or NBA Team Y and wanted to hire him, I'm pretty sure the buyout is like $18 million.
$18 million.
Okay, can we not do this to Jimmy Dykes? I know Indiana is coming open.
Sure.
But can we live in reality?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know Indiana that well. Are the Hoosiers scrapping together $20 million?
No, I mean, that's all they care about is money. Or, excuse me, is basketball. It's basketball.
Yes, but
yes.
I mean, come on.
Go ahead. Keep going.
That's a lot of money. That is, I don't know. You know, I don't know what these schools' finances look like, but I think it's a bit ridiculous to be throwing this out there without even acknowledging that. Let me also mention Nate Oates is tied to the University of Alabama until the year 2029 with a buyout of this much.
It'd be one thing.
It feels disingenuous.
Right.
To throw that out there without the accompanying information.
Yeah. It'd be one thing if you just had a long contract. Mm-hmm. Oh, we've got him under contract for 10 years. But the buyouts, $1, $3, $5 million, something reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can keep looking. I think the next year the buyout drops from 18 to 10 or 18 to 12 or something in those ranges. So it becomes a little more realistic if you want to get out of it. But still, even so, like $18 million, you're the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm sorry, like you're Kentucky if you're doing that. And I'm sorry, Kentucky's not doing that right now. Mark Pope is fine. I think he's building. Like what brands are doing that? You're the Lakers. You're the Celtics. You're Kentucky. Who else you might be Kansas?
Sure. I do have the numbers here. So it's $18 million for the first if he leaves within the first 2 years of his contract. After March 31st of 2026, falls to $10 million, and then in 2027 falls to $4 million, and then $0 after that.
Right, and here's what's going to happen in these 2 years. If things keep trending positively,
2035.
We just tacking these bad boys on.
Mm-hmm.
We just that $4 million buyout. Oh, Coach, what do we got to do to bump it to 10? Well, I'm going to need another extra couple $100,000 on my contract and extra couple of this. All right, done. And then you tack like
yeah. I've got his salary here. He's making $5 million this year, 5.5 next year, $6 million, 6.5, 7, 7.5.
To me, he's only leaving. You know, you hear all the Michigan State stuff. I think that probably. I think that is actually a realistic place, but like, you tie that together with the fact that how much every time it comes up, he loves the South, and I love being in Alabama. I love the weather. I love the mindset.
Do you peg Nate Oates as a
NBA
follow legacy kind of guy? Because like Tom Izzo is Michigan State.
Yeah.
Do you think he has everything here? Everything he wants. He is basketball in Tuscaloosa right now. And if he wins a championship, he is basketball in Tuscaloosa for the future until someone else does it. So like, his legacy is set in stone. He doesn't have to go follow anyone else. I just wonder if that would maybe put him off from that Michigan State job a bit, going there trying to follow someone.
I think the only realistic thing for Coach Oates is the NBA.
You think he'd like the NBA? I feel like he really enjoys the aspect of like, I don't know,
younger athletes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think he likes the molding of young minds. You get to the NBA, it's a little more everybody's kind of set in their ways a bit.
Certainly. But the reason I see him moving to the NBA and not anytime soon, not trying to say that, just sometime off in the future, is the challenge aspect. I see him as that's the next mountain to climb. Sure. That's the next challenge to go get. But
get into Charlotte, Coach Brandon Miller again. That'd be cool.
Not Charlotte, Coach. Look, if you want to if you want to leave us for the NBA, that's going to break my heart. But at least go to a competent franchise.
I'd like to see you win there.
Don't go be some superstar's little clipboard holder. Seriously, don't do that. Obviously LeBron's going to be well retired by then. Ideally, in this hypothetical,
at this point, I don't even know. The man looks rejuvenated now that Luka's shown up in town. So who knows? We could see LeBron play.
LeBron and Rey Mysterio getting those laser the laser treatments, right? Oh my gosh!
I don't believe that.
Rey Mysterio, you did Logan Paul such a favor on Monday night. I hate you so much for that.
That was so disappointing. Anybody that didn't watch.
Rey Mysterio, the way this works, basically choreographed a great match and made Logan Paul look good, and everybody's, Logan Paul is a great. No, he's not. Yeah.
He's just a guy that can pick up things. I don't think he's, some of the moves were cool, but he doesn't really do any of the super crazy athletic feats like some of the other guys do with the high flying things. He's a little boring. His repertoire.
Well, if you watch Logan, every single one of his moves are like, I like he's got a couple moves that he does that is just like the Ultimate Warrior. He basically just a copycat.
That's what I saw some people saying online. Even the new finisher that he debuted on Monday is not his. It's just from an old independent guy. Guys used to use it on the independent circuit years ago, and it was called something else then. And now he's rebranded it as the pulverizer.
I'm getting butthurt over something silly.
Some fiction.
Exactly. It's exactly.
Nate Oates is not leaving us anytime soon, I believe.
How do we even start with Nate Oates' contract? How do we even get to Nate Oates' contract?
It
doesn't really matter.
I don't remember now.
It doesn't really matter. All right, so you going forward? Jimmy Dykes. That's how we're talking about. We're talking about the broadcast and Jimmy Dykes all over the. And the other one that got me really bad was was he talking about Texas' resume, tournament resume, or Alabama's?
Sure. I had to watch part of the game on mute, so I may have missed.
You did the right thing. I should have watched it on Crimson Tide with Crimson Tide Sports Network. Chris Stewart, Chris Stewart and Brian Pasnick calling the game. That's what I should have done. But they talked about resume boosters. I think it was for Texas. And it's like, okay, what is before I even say this, Texas basketball net? I bet you it's not bad. Yeah, in the net, they are they're 3-8 now in quad 1 games. They're 3-2 in quad 2. They're 31st in the net. Like Texas is going to be in the NCAA tournament. So I don't really understand what some of the narratives were last night. And then I think they were talking about Alabama's schedule and how the conference schedule is harder even than the non-conference. And I was like, yes, but Alabama's non-conference like this. I don't know. There was just some wild takes about how part of Alabama's schedule is harder than the other. And it's like, dude, you could take any 6-game stretch in this schedule, and it's going to be really, really, really hard.
Yeah, I think the only like reprieve that they had at any point this year was like a 2-game stretch, maybe.
Yeah, like around Christmas.
Yes,
it's like here's your Christmas gift.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through it here, and it's I think your easiest, if we want to call it 3-game stretch of the season, was Kent State or North Dakota, Kent State, South Dakota State. And we remember how North Dakota went. It was you barely escaped with a victory. So,
our man Brian Ellis on Facebook. This will send you back, Mason. He says, anybody heard from Digger this morning?
Whoa.
You remember our friend Digger?
Yeah.
Digger, if you ever watch the show, we did get a phone line just for you. Not just for you, but for everyone. But you can use it if you want to complain about your Texas Longhorns. You can call at 205-462-7340, extension 800. I've been DMing the number out to different people, old callers on 109, friends. That just triggered me. I know how to get in touch with Bryce. I can get Bryce. I can give Bryce the number for sure. Tom, I can give Tom the number for sure. I haven't given him the number. But definitely Tom and Bryce need to get the number. Digger as well needs to get it. 205-462-7340. And this seems like a good little time. Let's listen to. We got 3 voicemails, and we'll share them. We'll just hear what they have to say.
Hello, I'm an Auburn fan. I'm not a believer in Nate Oates. War, damn, Eagle. Have a good one. Bye.
Joe Gaither, it's your good friend Simon Besnoy. I'm about to go to bed. A big day at school tomorrow. But if we get that, Jaron Stevenson and Modi Abate down the stretch through the end of the regular season and postseason play, we're not gonna lose it. We're not gonna lose a damn ball game.
Woo! Roll Tide, baby. First-time caller, long-time listener. I want to just hear some love for NXT champion Oba Femi. He is the future of WWE, and most importantly, Alabama alma mater. Roll Tide, baby. Just want to show some love for my boy. Woo! Roll Tide!
Woo! That's fun.
Got me fired up.
Three voicemails right there.
Man.
Hopefully,
we love hearing from the people.
Hopefully, our people could. Hopefully, that presented better, and you could hear it a little bit better. We'll take the first 2 because the third one. I mean, we love Obafemi. I didn't watch NXT last night.
I need to start watching it though. I've never really tuned into the NXT.
I do know that AEW, the rival brand, they just lost a free agent or whatever, and he popped up at NXT last night, like, oh, I'm coming, I'm going to take over. But Obafemi, big old Alabama grad, is the champion at NXT. That's the third voicemail. Let's go to the first 2. First guy, look, we accept you if you're an Auburn fan.
Sure.
Please call the show, troll the show. We absolutely want to hear from you after Saturday, after Alabama wins. Definitely call us back, and you can reassess your belief in Coach Oates.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe hear, even one reason as to why you don't believe in Nate Oates, other than just saying that.
So the first one, we accept all Auburn fans, even if they are
would love to argue
mentally handicapped. Middle one is our friend. Okay, first off, got to give credit to the middle one. First one to identify themselves.
Yeah,
we've had our 6th voicemail now, so 3 over the weekend and 3 last night. And middle voicemail identifies himself, so now we know how to address him. Simon Besnoy, I love you, Simon. Thank you so much for calling. Simon says, if we get that Jaron Stevenson and Mo Diabate, we haven't even really talked about the actual play on the court. Jaron, baby. Woo, who wants the apology form? Yeah. Who wants the Jaron? You know who needs it? I'll tell you, Tony Sakalis. I love you, Tony. And this is mostly a joke. But, Tony, you need to apologize to Jaron. Go to your TideIllustrated.com and write you up an apology column.
Get on the forum.
I was wrong about Jaron Stevenson. When my man's plays defense like that and is 4 of 5 from the 3-point line and is 4 of 4 from the free throw line, Jaron Stevenson becomes, oh my gosh, second, third best, most important player on the team when he can do that.
Probably, yeah. I think if you can continue to get these types of performances from him. I understand the shooting was great, but like the defense, he was locked in on the defensive end. If you can just keep getting that, there's no telling who this team can beat. They can beat anybody. It's a team. It's a picture of the dream team, and it's just 2025 Alabama basketball if they didn't turn the ball over every other possession. And that is very true with this team. When we see them play at their best, they are just dominant.
What is 60%? Okay, all right, hold on. You pull me up a calculator real quick, because I'm going to throw some numbers at you, and you're going to tell me what this is. Okay, so 17. Let's just say that they got actually 17 shots in for those turnovers. What is 62% of 17? So how will we do that? 17 times 0.62.
10.5.
All right. So you've made another 10.5 buckets last night, and I'll let you choose. They can all be twos. Let's make that 10.5. Make it multiply 10.5 by 2.3. Is
24 and some change.
So you go 0 turnovers, and you just keep playing the way you were playing last night. Not any better. You said 24 and a half?
Mm-hmm.
You've beaten them 127 to 80. And no, not 127 to 80. Think about this. How many points did they score off turnovers? They scored points off turnovers.
13?
26.
Family, yeah.
So 127. What's 20? That's 60. That's 54. 127, 54.
This could have been.
This issue is singular in nature, and the only issue preventing you from being the belief that we're talking about here. This is the issue that is preventing me from going there, because you 12 or fewer, cut down by 5 turnovers. Go ahead. I'm gonna lose my brain, but yeah, that's what you could have had.
Yeah.
127-54. If you play nice, if you play well, if you play dialed in on the offensive side.
Yeah. They're going to. They have to limit the turnover. You can't. It is not a winning formula. I understand they won this game by 23 points, but they did that on the best shooting performance of the season and a really, really atrocious shooting performance for Texas. So it went both ways in Alabama's favor there. You got super lucky with your shots falling. You got really lucky with Texas's shots not falling. You get to tournament time, even this final 7-game stretch here where every one of them is a top 25 matchup. Those teams are going to make those teams are going to make more shots. Those teams are going to take more advantage of the opportunities that you give them. You can't count on, we're going to shoot 60% from 3. We're going to shoot 70% from the floor, whatever it was last night.
62% from the floor.
60,
and almost 60 from 3.
You cannot count on that every night. That's not going to happen every night. We've seen it. We're however many games into this year now. This is the first time we've seen this type of shooting output for Alabama.
That high, at least. That high. You've gotten 50% a couple times, but you had, literally, Jaron, LeBaron, Aiden, all of them shooting great percentages. And Mart, not bad. 2 for 5 for Mart, not bad.
Yeah.
Modi Abate, you're going to go 3 for 3 from Modi? Let's be honest with ourselves. How much money are you going to put on Modi Abate going 3 for 3 in any game the rest of this year? I love you, Modi. I love you. That's not said in any with any malice or any criticism. But let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just that's not you can't play around. Okay, we're just going to score a ton of points, because you can't. You might not. You have to be able to do the little things right, not turn the ball over.
Oh my God.
Get stops on defense, force turnovers when you are on defense. It's just.
What do you think What do you think Alabama held Texas to points per possession?
It's bad.
You won by 23.
Yeah, the first half, because I remember checking it this morning. What was it? It was right around 1 in the first half and 1.5 in the second.
Yeah, exactly. Very close. You're at 0.88 in the first half. All right,
Sure.
that gives me a B plus. I'll give you a B plus with that.
I will accept that, and I'll be pretty okay.
Second half, 1.32. F minus, bros.
Jeez.
F minus.
That's awful. That's so bad.
You forced 4 turnovers in the second. Texas turned the ball over 4 times in the second half. You got fortunate. Yeah, they shot better in the second half. 5 of 10.
Yeah, 50%
from beyond the line
from the floor. So, still though,
You're fortunate, in my opinion, that they're not very deep, that they don't have 10 bodies like you do. Trey Johnson was getting in that ass a little bit. He was definitely their catalyst, 9 of the 8, 17.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm thrilled to win.
Always happy with a win.
A road win in the SEC, and we're sitting here complaining after a 23-point road victory. So come on,
perspective, I guess.
We need somebody to come to the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios and smack us in the face and say, "Remember what you used to have." Oh my gosh!
Don't you think Nate Oates would be happy to hear us talking like this though, and not just pumping up the team?
I don't know, Nate. You come on the show and tell us.
Yeah, please. I know you're listening.
Oh my God! So I mean, it's just hard. Like, I'm still at that same place where I was even 3 weeks ago, watching them play against Ole Miss and watching them play against LSU and Vanderbilt. I intellectually know that they can beat anyone, and in my heart, I know that they can beat anyone. And in my heart, I know that we should probably be expecting a championship.
But in my brain,
yeah,
I know that this team.
You get a Mark Sears 7 turnover game. I mean, he only had 3 last night. So, like, the turnovers weren't all on one person. We need to make that clear.
No.
The turnover problem was, I mean, it's not good. You got Mark with 3, Cliff with 3, LeBaron with 3, and Modi Abate with 3. Those were your 3 biggest offenders. And Cliff's first 2 statistical inputs on stat broadcast: turnover at 18:05, turnover at 17:43, sub out at 17:23. He's like, "Hey, yank," which that I appreciate, Coach.
Yeah,
Thank
I love
you.
that.
Like, hey, you have enough bodies to where if somebody is throwing the basketball all over the yard, get them the heck out of there.
Especially now that we've seen Sherrell, find his footing a little bit the last 2 weeks or so. He's a much more competent option now that you can throw it on the floor than he was the first few weeks of the season.
He gets put back in at 11:40. He gets a defensive rebound at 11:28, and then it's next to another 9:21 turnover. I mean, now you don't turn the ball over the rest of the time, but your 3 of your first 4 or 5 statistical inputs are turnover.
If I recall correctly, they were his fault. It was not like, oh, it's a bad pass that got tipped off his hand. It was like, oh, Cliff didn't cut quick enough on the pick and roll, and then he wasn't there for the pass, so he couldn't catch it.
I mean, I'm texting you right at their 17-minute mark.
5 turnovers already.
Down 8 points, down 7 points, whatever it was, 6 points right off the bat, which didn't matter ultimately. But it will matter when you're playing Auburn on Saturday. Goodness.
It will matter when you play a team that can, make that a 15-point lead rather than a 6-7 point lead. Auburn can.
It's going to matter when you go up to Knoxville.
Golly, especially.
Hello?
If they get up by 10 on you, you might as well kiss that game goodbye.
Right. If you play the same,
if you play into Tennessee's
you can't go into a hole and just say we'll just dig ourselves out. Yeah. I mean, we've seen this team's capable of it, but I don't think that
it's just a bad MO. It's a bad way to approach things. Of just like, we'll kind of feel it out for a little bit, and then we'll lock in right at the end when we need to, and we can turn it on.
Drives me nuts. I love them, but just I just see the I still see the ceiling 10 more rungs higher than the play that we've seen so far. And all that to say, I mean, 10 more rungs higher, and you're ranked number 1 in the nation, and you 20 something and 3 or whatever you are.
We talked about, I don't know how long ago it was now, but just like our confidence level with this team winning a national title.
Still at a 7-6. Go.
Yeah, I think it has, it's gotten a little better since we had that conversation last, but I still am not in a 9 or 10 range or even like an 8 range because of these turnover issues that continue to persist and the lack of effort that you see sometimes from this team for, minutes at a time for like pretty wide stretches. I just, maybe they lock it in. They locked it in March last year. I've seen it happen with teams. You get to that tournament, a lot of things change, a lot of attitudes change, a lot of things are very different. So maybe that's on the docket for Alabama, but I've not seen them address any of these issues enough for me to feel super confident that they will go into March and address them.
You absolutely torched them though last night. I mean, these shooting numbers are ridiculous. I mean, look at them. Mark is 5 of 11, and that's probably like your worst night,
sure.
Which is not really even that bad. He's 6 of 6 from the free throw line. He scores 18 points. Jaron, 7 of 8. 7 of 8 for Jaron. Mo D, 4 of 4. Like, oh, I'm not going to miss a shot. Cliff, 1 of 2. At least you're efficient, buddy, with 8 rebounds. Thank you so much. Aiden, I'm only going to take 1 shot, but I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make one of my. If the efficiency offensively was ridiculous last night, outside of the turnovers, I don't know what you do. I don't know how you correct. I mean, coach has been preaching it all season long. Now, he seemed to be preaching free throws for a while, and that seems to be curbed. So maybe
it's just one.
Maybe he needs a couple more speeches on the turnovers, and it'll sink in.
Yeah, it's just this team fixes one issue and another issue pops back up. It's not a new issue. It's just like oh man, it's very frustrating. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back with the team. It feels like.
All right, let's keep going here on the Joe Gaither Show. We need to remind you we are live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios. It's raining outside. You need to make sure that you're properly insured. Home, life, auto insurance. Auto insurance, a big one today with all the wet weather. Call them at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. He's got a great team upstairs. Red, Reese, and Victoria. Every time we pop in to say hello, they are super nice to us. They'll be super nice to you. 205-758-3391. They'd be happy to talk to you about all your insurance needs, run you a quick auto insurance quote, let you shop around, give you all the information that you need to shop around. Call Derek Daniel and his team, 205-758-3391. Of course, we are live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios, encouraging your phone calls at 205-462-7340, extension 800. It just takes one to be the first. If you're the first caller, more will come, and we'll love you even more after that. So you go ahead and give us a call at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Or when we go off the air, if you're listening to us after we're live, you can call the same number, leave us a voicemail, be like our friends who left us a voicemail last night, just like this.
Hello, I'm an Auburn fan. I'm not a believer in Nate Oates. War, damn, Eagle. Have a good one. Bye.
Dear Gaither, it's your good friend, Simon Besnoy. I'm about to go to bed. Big day at school tomorrow. But if we get that, Jaron Stevenson and Modi Abate down the stretch through the end of the regular season and postseason play, we're not going to lose it. We're not going to lose a damn ball game.
Woo! Roll Tide, baby. First time caller, long time listener. I want to just hear some love for NXT champion Oba Femi. He is the future of WWE, and most importantly, Alabama alma mater. Roll Tide, baby. Just want to show some love for my boy. Woo! Roll Tide!
Woo! Roll Tide indeed. We appreciate everybody who called us on the phone line last night after the Alabama game. 205-462-7340, extension 800. It's very, very easy to leave a voicemail. You won't even have to wait like you do on a regular, like you want to call regular radio show, they got to put you on hold for 45 minutes. No, man, we just want to get your voicemail, get you on, and get you off. We appreciate that so much. Mason, let's wrap it up. I got one more topic for you, unless you got more, and if so, we appreciate it.
No, I think I'm tapped out on the hoops talk.
Big birthday.
I can't be frustrated with this team anymore.
Big birthday this past week.
Sure.
Ryan Williams turns 18 3 days ago.
Announcers are in shambles.
On Sunday, we can't use 17 years old anymore. He's the youngest.
I bet week 1 you'll hear Ryan Williams, an 18-year-old sophomore for the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's a little strange, isn't it?
Is it just going to follow him forever?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, Kyra Lewis, we didn't do this with Kyra Lewis when he enrolled early.
There's a little bit of it. I do remember some talks, but not really.
Yeah, you're right. Youngest player. There was a bunch of youngest player in college basketball to do this or to do that.
But no, the 17-year-old thing with Ryan, I mean, I say thing. He was 17. It's not like it was a thing. He was 17 years old, but that got driven into the ground by everyone and their mother this year.
Oh my gosh. Before we keep going, I just saw an announcement. If you are watching this show, there's a high chance that you know my friend Ryan Fowler. It's Ryan Fowler's birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Ryan Fowler, Bearded Wonder. Make sure you call him today. His show starts at 2 o'clock. So if you're watching us, we appreciate you. You can listen to Ryan and tell him happy birthday at 2 o'clock. Ryan Williams turns 18, and I guess all his magical powers go away. All his magical fountain of youth powers all go away. Sophomore slump incoming.
Instead of Alabama, 18 doesn't even really mean anything.
Right. I was thinking that. Like, you still can't.
He still can't hardly do anything.
You can't.
You got to be 21 now to buy cigarettes and stuff.
Oh, you did? I was going to say I thought it was 19.
I'm almost certain it got changed to 21.
Wow. Think about.
Not that Ryan Williams is probably out there buying cigarettes, but
18-year-old Joe is in shambles, not being able to buy cigarettes. Well, when he first came to Alabama, I had just foolishly, I want to make that clear to you, young listeners, foolishly smoked cigarettes the summer before I came to college, and came and was like, "You got to be 19 to buy them." Oh, what?
I guess I'll drive over to Starkville.
Make it happen somehow, some way. All right. Who cares?
Yeah, this isn't going to change.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday to Ryan Williams. We love you. 800.
What's this deal with
yards last year? I'd like to see somebody else do that.
What's this deal with this? You got a new endorsement?
Got a big NIL deal. Sally Hansen.
Sally who?
Sally Hansen, nail polish company. Melissa, my wife uses a lot of their nail polish.
Do we need to get Melissa on to correspond? Tell us all about Sally Hansen.
Maybe we do.
So tell me, they'll give me the basic. What is? It's just any sort of nail polish.
Yeah,
it's just a brand.
It's just a brand of nail polish, as I understand it. I think they probably, if I had to guess, make other cosmetic things as well, as many companies do. They probably have more than one lane, but I think their bread and butter is nail polish. I imagine it was a fairly lucrative deal from one Mr. Ryan Williams, as many of these NIL deals are with these, national companies. Good for him. I will never be upset about a kid making a better name for themselves, making money for
Isn't that
themselves,
true?
getting his
NIL
name out there. Yeah, isn't this what you people want? The message boards are going insane. I'm not going to repeat some of the things that they're saying about Ryan Williams.
Questioning his sexuality a little bit.
It's just absurd. It's a bunch of fragile people who are too scared themselves to do anything. It's ridiculous.
Let me tell you about
if the guy wants to paint his nails, who the hell cares? He had 865 yards last year and 8 touchdowns. If he wants to paint his nails, he can do it every damn once. If you want to go out there and do it yourself, you do that. Until you can, you have no room to talk about one Mr. Ryan Williams, because he will smoke your ass on a football field.
People, getting money for nothing. Isn't this is true, NIL? Yeah, we found out last year he likes to paint his fingernails. His sister paints his fingernails.
That was another thing. What are the odds he didn't just do this for his sister? You know how cool that probably? She's probably just getting free nail polish left and right.
And if sister is, I got a little nail business at sophomore years old, junior years old to high school. Oh, I need to make sure I hit
But no, he's a sissy because he put some nail polish on his fingers.
Yeah, I wonder how sister's nail polish business, nail tech business jumped off last year.
Yeah, man, ridiculous.
This is exactly what NIL is supposed to be.
It's great.
I mean, you're not going to see me paint my fingernails, but
no, not my style. I ain't got no problem with it though. Do whatever you want, man.
I will say this, if there's ever a future Mrs. Joe Gaither, then, and if nail polish is on her Christmas list, I will say, boom, Sally, what
Sally Hansen.
Sally Hansen just moved up to the top of the list.
Sure.
So
Let me get that Ryan Williams package.
Right.
Maybe the full shade of Alabama colors. You get the gray, crimson, black, white. And you sell it as a box set.
NIL genius.
Yeah. No more free ideas, Sally Hansen.
You got to.
I know you're listening.
Drop some like sparklies in the nail polish or whatever. In that part of it, yeah.
Sure.
Great job, Ryan. You capitalized off your success this past year, and you turned it into a real NIL deal.
What is his on-3 evaluation now?
I think I saw 2.3 million, but maybe I'm making that up. It's not a big deal.
2.7.
2.7.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to be upset about that, that's your own prerogative, man. I think you got more things to figure out if an 18-year-old kid painting his fingernails and making a lot of money to do it makes you this upset.
He's fun though.
I love Ryan Williams. Did you notice he's dropped the red hair now? He just has like his normal hair color. He posted a video of him, doing his little ad read. He's no longer rocking the crimson braids.
No, I didn't notice that. And here's a dumb question for you: were those braids real, or were they Jalen Milroe braids like last year?
I have no idea.
Because
I don't know what kind of hair he rocked in high school. I don't recall.
Right, that's my question. Because Jalen Milroe's hair was, I don't care that it was, but it was definitely fake last year.
Yeah, because it was like overnight. Jalen, you went from having like a tight fade, and then you showed up for a press conference the next day, and you had these long flowing braids.
Right, he had just enough hair to like connect the extensions to, and find whatever.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's an area I just don't understand. Like, of course, you can look at my hair and I need a haircut badly, but we're not going to get a haircut anytime soon. I'm just kind of feeling it a little bit, but I just don't know about like attaching things into my hair. Like, I used to be fine if you want to buzz my hair into a mohawk. I've done the bald before. I've done a lot of different looks before, but I'm not sure about like adding something in. I don't know. It seems like a foreign concept.
Yeah, I would think like it would get annoying, especially because like many times Ryan Williams specifically seemed like went out of his way to have one strand hanging down over his eye or something. It was just like, man, that would piss me off.
Yeah, that would.
Colin Sexton, when he played at Alabama, he had the one rat tail, which always
drive me nuts.
How does that not bother you? Do you not like catch it on stuff when you're like, I have long hair. It's halfway down my back. I am constantly catching it in things. I rolled it up in the window the other day in my car. Like it's annoying. My wife likes it, so I keep it. But
well, Mason. Okay, let's finish up by briefly.
We've gone off the rails a little bit here.
by briefly looking at tonight's SEC basketball games, and we'll say good night to everybody, or good day to everybody.
I think a good slate tonight.
Wednesday, SEC, all the way down. SEC, Ole Miss at South Carolina at 6:00. Oklahoma is at Missouri at 8, and LSU is at Arkansas at 8 as well.
Okay, so one good game.
I'm gonna pay attention to that Missouri game a little bit.
That one could be fun.
What we want you to do over these 12 hours before we get back on the air, we're going to be back again tomorrow, 8 a.m. Ooh, what did I start today? 8:05. We're going to have to move that back about 5 more minutes. We're going to get there. 8 a.m. is going to be the hard start Tuesday through Friday, and we want your phone calls. We're going to train you guys to call us for between 8 and 9 a.m. Tuesday through Friday. We're going to have the show at 3 still on Mondays, just on Mondays at 3. But between now and tomorrow, you listen to the show. You heard us say some silly stuff. You heard us say some really smart stuff. You heard us say some, really not so smart stuff. You call 205-462-7340, extension 800 to respond to what we said. You heard my friends on the voicemail line already. We got some Auburn guy saying we don't believe in Nate Oates. You can call and let us know what you think of the Auburn fella who's calling to give us a big old war eagle. Welcome for that. We're looking for Digger. Digger, if you're watching the show, you can call, react to your Texas loss. 205-462-7340, extension 800. We're going to play our voicemails one more time, and we're going to say goodbye right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and Bama Central.
Hello, I'm an Auburn fan. I'm not a believer in Nate Oates. War, Gam, Eagle. Have a good one. Bye.
Joe Gaither, it's your good friend Simon Besnoy. I'm about to go to bed. A big day at school tomorrow. But if we get that, Jaron Stevenson and Modi Abate down the stretch through the end of the regular season and postseason play, we're not gonna lose it. We're not gonna lose a damn ball game.
Woo! Roll Tide, baby. First time caller, long time listener. I want to just hear some love for NXT champion Oba Femi. He is the future of WWE, and most importantly, Alabama alma mater. Roll Tide, baby. Just want to show some love for my boy. Woo! Roll Tide!
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.